Okay, so here's what happened. I filmed the whole video where I pick out my TBR for the month out of my TBR jar, just to find out that my phone didn't save the video or didn't record it because of storage reasons. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna go through picking out all the books on camera like I usually do. I'm just gonna show you guys what I did pick when I filmed. So I'm a little bit disappointed. It was a great video in my opinion. Hopefully I can make this one just as good. So yeah, let's get started. This video is my June TBR. I picked out I picked out 7 books out of this jar, which I don't have footage of anymore. I'm gonna show you guys the books that I picked out from that jar. And I'm also gonna show you guys some queer books that I'm hoping to get to during the month because it is queer month. So I'm really excited to read a lot of queer books. I don't only read queer books during June, of course, but without further ado, let's just get started. All right, so let's start with Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. I've had this book ever since it came out. I never read it because I've just been reading other stuff, but I'm really excited to finally... There are cars going by and my window's open, so sorry. I'm really excited to finally have this like on a TBR. I have a good feeling I'm actually gonna pick it up and read it. I don't really know what this is about. I'm guessing this girl is gonna date a doctor, and it is a steamy book. That I know. So yeah, I'm just guessing it's a fun, steamy romance between this girl and a doctor, and that sounds just amazing to me. Like a very, very just fun book to read. And like I always say, I don't like knowing too much about the books when I go into them. I just like that element of surprise. So yeah, I just guess that this is what the plot is. I've also heard amazing things about this book, so that makes me even more excited. I'm really looking forward to hopefully reading it during June. Next up, I have a very popular book on Book Talk, and that's The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. And I believe she writes about billionaires, which sounds really fun. I was just looking through it and I saw little like castle doodles, and then there's like a roller coaster. And right off the bat, that gives me a sense that it's gonna take place in like a park, like a Disneyland or something like that, but I don't think so. I don't know. Again, I don't like knowing what the books are about. So I just know that this is about a girl and this billionaire, sorry. And it's pretty steamy and very, very good. Everybody that I know that I have read this give it like a 5 stars. So I'm really excited to read this one. Hopefully this month. I always say this. Last month, I read 1 book out of my 7 books from my TBR. So, you know, we never know how it's gonna go. I could read all of these books or I could read none of these. But I've been wanting to read this one for quite some time, so I'm thinking I'm actually going to read it. The next book I have, I think, is the one that I'm most excited out of all the books that I've picked out from my TBR jar. And that is The Standin by Lily Shu. I've heard only good things about this book ever since it came out. It's from a Canadian author. It's got a gorgeous cartoon cover, and this is supposedly about this girl Gracie who looks a lot like this famous actress, and she's asked to be her stand-in. So honestly, that's like one of my favorite tropes, like when 2 people that look really alike just switch places and we get to see how one or the other deals with their new identity. And that's why I'm just so excited about this book. I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Everybody loves it. I'm really happy I picked it up for my June TBR because it's starting to be so nice outside, and this seems like the book I would want to read outside or just like by the window on a really nice day. Next one I have is Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I have absolutely no idea what this is about, but I do know that it's really good. Everybody that's read it have loved it, or at least people that I know, and I trust them and their reviews. So I also love Rachel Lynn Solomon's books. I've read both her adult romances, and now this is a YA, so it would be my first YA book from her that I read if I do read this in June. So this, I believe, is like a cute little romance between teenagers, which is just fun to read from time to time. I do love my adult romance, but some cute YA romance that's really well written is really enjoyable to me, so I'm excited for this one too. The last 3 books that I have to show for what my TBR jar picked out are actually 3 fantasy books, which I haven't read fantasy in a while and I need to get back to it. So the first one I have to show here is King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. I've read only A Touch of Darkness by her and I really enjoyed it. and I need to read the rest of that series, but I'm really glad that I picked out this one because the cover is really attractive to me and makes me want to read it. So I'm really happy that I have this book on my TBR for the month. I might get to it, I might not, but I'm really hoping to get to it soon if it's not in June. Seems to me like the kind of fun and steamy fantasy story that I would just love to read like over a weekend. So yeah, the next book I have is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and I can't tell you how excited I was when I picked out the little paper for this book out of my TBR jar, because one, I've had this book forever, I've known about this book forever, and I never actually read it, and two, because it's V.E. Schwab and I need to read another book by her very soon. I've heard just in general really good things about this book and the whole series. I loved V.E. Schwab's writing in Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, so you know, I'm really just excited to have this one on my TBR and see what the hype is about this one, because this is some people's favorite book ever. I also have all 3 books, so if I end up absolutely loving this, I can just binge the rest of the series, which is pretty exciting. And now the last book that my TBR chose for me is Shielded by Kaylin Flanders. This apparently is a very underrated YA fantasy book, and I love the cover. So put those two together and that means that I'm excited to read it. I believe this is a duology, and it's about this girl that has some kind of secret that she can't tell anybody about, but like her whole world is just shattering, and her maybe telling her secret is what will stop her world from shattering. But that's kind of the vibe I'm getting, but you know, we'll see what I think of it when I read it, if I read it. In general, I've heard some really good things about this one, and every time I go to the bookstore I see it and I just want to read it, so I might read this one this month. So now I'm going to go through the books that I handpicked for this TBR, and they're all queer. So I'm gonna go through those books. Again, I don't really know exactly what they're about other than they're queer. So, and that's really all I want to know. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I really like not knowing what I'm reading until I just discover it for myself. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books for this queer category of my TBR. This is quite the TBR. And I also have The No Show by Beth O'Leary that I'm going to be reading as part of a reading group, what do you call them? Book clubs. Jeez. But yeah, so my friend Desiree, you might know her at Rainy Days Library, she organized this whole annotating book club, and we're going to be reading The No Show. So that's like a definite read I'm going to be reading this month because it's for a book club, and I'm also going to be annotating it. So pretty excited for that. So yeah, technically I have 14 books on this TBR. We'll see how that goes. First book out of this queer section of my TBR is going to be Loveless by Alice Oseman. I believe that Alice's books are all queer, or there's at least like some queer representation in them, and I just decided it was time for me to read a book by Alice that isn't Heartstopper. Don't get me wrong, I love Heartstopper with all my heart. I'm gonna reread them forever. I'm never gonna stop reading those books, never gonna stop loving them. But I do really want to read one of their novels, and I've had this one. I think this is the first one that I bought for myself from Alice, so I thought I would add it to my TBR and hope to read it. This also sounds like quite the emotional ride. I've heard good things about it. I want to read it. I don't think Alice can do any wrong. Adding this one to my TBR. Will I read it? Stay tuned. Next up I have She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Alison Derrick. This is a sapphic YA book, and I fell in love with the cover. That's the only reason why I got it. Well, I also got it because it's queer. I never not want a queer book. I'm really hoping those car sounds aren't as bad as I think they are. I first saw this cover and I was like, oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. I was counting down the days till this came out, and I got it when it came out. I was able to get it in paperback. Usually books will come out in the hardcover first, and I kind of don't want hardcovers unless I can't escape it. And then I found out that they were also selling them in paperback, so I grabbed one in paperback. I've been hearing a lot of good things about this book too, and it seems just super duper cute. Let me know if you've read this one. I've heard good things about it, but not as much. Like, I don't see it go around a lot, but I'm sure it's gonna be good. I'm sure it's gonna be really good. The next book I have is Jay's Gay Agenda by Jason June. Jason's second book just came out, and I was actually at the bookstore today and I almost got it, and I was like, well, hold on, it's a hardcover first of all, and I haven't read the other book. I haven't read this book. Jay's Gay Agenda has a lot of praise in the back, and they're all on little post-it notes things, which is adorable. And from what I understand, he's got an agenda, a to-do list, which include meeting another gay kid, falling in love with a boy, and losing his virginity. It's been a while since I've read a good YA gay book. I can't even tell you what the last one was. I've been reading so many adult romances lately. It's like all the other genres I've just been putting aside. So I think I'm gonna read this one for sure. Like, I really want to say this about all the books in this video, but I think this one has some pretty good chances of being read because, like I said, I saw the other book that Jason wrote. That one looks really, really good. It's called Out of the Blue. So I think that when I read this, and if I love it, I'm gonna go grab the other one. So, you know, I want to read this one before I read the other one, and the other one looks amazing. So, you know, just by definition, I'm probably gonna read this one this month. I do have an adult romance in this queer category, and that is Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey. This cover is so dang cute, and it's the reason I got it. It's sapphic. I think it came out around Valentine's Day because I was looking just for like fun, cute romances to read during February, and I saw this one. I didn't pick it up. I only picked this up a little while ago, but I really want to read it. There's a book on the cover. It's sapphic. The cover is a cartoon cover. It's pink. What else do you want? There's text messages in there, which I love when books have those. So this one I think I'm gonna read when I'm gonna be tired of reading just YA. This one is on my TBR. I absolutely love the cover. The next chapter is all up to them. Will it lead to a love story or a closed book? This just seems really sweet. I want to read it. So I'm hopefully going to read it this month. The next book I have is actually a book that I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to read during Pride Month. And it is Ophelia After All by Raquel Mary. I still don't really know what this is about. This book is featured in every single must-read queer books post that I see on Instagram, so I just had to add it to my TBR. It looks sweet. I adore the cover so much. It's got flowers. It's got roses. I've heard amazing things about this book. I'm really happy to have it on my TBR for the month, and I hopefully will get to it. The last book I have, everyone has read, and I have not read it yet. Well, not everybody, but you know, a lot of people have read it. It's by a very famous author. They wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue, One Last Stop, and I Kiss Sharp Wheeler. This seems like the cutest book, and everybody loves this book. The spine is my favorite thing. It's purple. I wish I had the green one, but this is what they had at Indigo, so it's okay. It looks amazing. I've read both of Casey McQuiston. By the way, it's Casey McQuiston. I love Red, White, and Royal Blue. That is a tongue twister. I also loved One Last Stop. Not as much, but I really liked it. And I just know a lot of people that I trust with their reviews and everything. They've read it and they liked it. They loved it. So I just had to add it to my TBR. It's June, it's Pride Month, it's perfect. So those are the 14 books, including the no-show, which I didn't show here. The book was a no-show, this video. These are the 14 books that I'm hoping to read in June, if that's even possible. Because in May, I've read 12 books, but like 5 of them were mangas. So, you know, can I actually read 14 physical novels? I don't know, we'll see. If you've read any of these books and you like them, let me know. I'm so excited to like get into them. Which one am I going to start with? I don't know. I'm really excited about those queer books. On that note, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe. We are like 3 away from 300. As I'm filming this video, we might be already there. I have a giveaway planned for when we hit 300. I also have a TikTok account, an Instagram account, Bookstagram, Book Talk. Those are all linked down below. I also have my small business where I sell scrunchies. I've been doing really well with those lately. I have some very nice designs coming up, so if you want to follow along with that, I do have my Etsy linked down below. And I also have my other little bookish shop that I have where I'm gonna start selling bookmarks and book sleeves. So that is also linked down below. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!